Bronny James is begging to be traded after JJ Redick humiliated him in the Lakers locker room. From getting screamed at on national TV to receiving 0 minutes, the tension has finally boiled over. But what really happened behind closed doors? Is Bronny done in LA? I've got the full story. Let's get into it. Bronny's impossible position. February 5th, 2026, the Los Angeles Lakers are locked in a tight battle against the Philadelphia 76ers, a game that would come down to a 119-115 nail-biter of a win. Austin Reeves goes off for 35 points. LeBron James chips in 17 points and 10 assists. The bench mob scraps and claws and fights for every single possession. And through all of it, through all 48 minutes of professional basketball, one Laker never leaves his seat, not for a single second. 0 minutes, 0 touches, 0 opportunity. The son of the greatest player on the roster, arguably the greatest player in the history of the sport, sat there in full uniform and watched his teammates fight without him. And this wasn't an isolated incident. Just 4 days earlier, on February 1st, Bronny had been ruled out entirely against the New York Knicks with lower left leg soreness. And in between those 2 games, on February 3rd against the Brooklyn Nets, he got exactly 5 minutes of run, scoring 4 points on 2 of 3 shooting before being pulled and never seeing the floor again, finishing with a -9 ±. 5 minutes, then 0, then 5, then 0 again. That's the pattern. That's the rhythm of Bronny James's season, an average of roughly 3.9 minutes per game across his limited appearances, averaging just 1.8 points. He has played more than 10 minutes only 4 times all year, 4 times, in a season that's now 50 games deep. And here's the thing, it's not just the lack of minutes, it's the context surrounding those minutes. Because when fans look at this situation, when analysts and insiders look at this situation, they see something that goes far beyond a simple coaching decision. They see what many have started calling, openly and without reservation, a complete and total lack of trust from head coach JJ Redick in the young guard. Social media hasn't been subtle about it either. Posts on X have been brutal. We got Bronny, but JJ don't want to play him. And it's a joke. Gabe can make mistakes and miss shots all day and JJ will still play him. But if Bronny makes a mistake, he'll be subbed out. And that frustration? It didn't come from nowhere. It's been simmering for months now. Because the tension between Bronny and this Lakers coaching staff has a history, a documented, filmed, and very public history that stretches all the way back to the first time JJ Redick screamed at Bronny James on national television. But to truly understand how deep this fracture goes, you have to understand the extraordinary circumstances that brought Bronny to this point in the first place. Because Bronny James's road to this moment has been anything but ordinary. In July of 2023, Bronny James collapsed during a practice session at USC. Just collapsed. He suffered a cardiac arrest, later diagnosed as a congenital heart defect that required surgery. Think about that for a moment. A 20-year-old kid, the picture of athletic health, just drops on a basketball court, and for a window of time that must have felt like an eternity for the James family, nobody knew if he was going to be okay, let alone if he'd ever play basketball again. That delayed his college debut and limited him to just 25 games at USC, where he put up modest numbers, 4.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 2.1 assists. And yet, despite those modest numbers, despite the cardiac scare, despite every armchair scout on the internet declaring that he wasn't NBA material, the Los Angeles Lakers selected Bronny James with the 55th pick in the 2024 NBA draft. It was historic. LeBron and Bronny became the first active father-son duo in league history. They even debuted together on October 22nd, 2024. Bronny signed a 4-year, $7.9 million contract, unusual for a second-round pick. And just like that, the nepotism debate went from a quiet murmur to an absolute roar. Now, did LeBron's presence influence the pick? ESPN's Ramona Shelburne actually addressed this head-on. She clarified that LeBron never asked the Lakers to draft Bronny, countering the prevailing narrative. And multiple other teams, the Warriors, the Mavericks, the Suns, reportedly showed interest in Bronny as well. But in the court of public opinion, none of that mattered. Stephen A. Smith put it bluntly in a way that captured what so many people were thinking. We all know that Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad. And that narrative, that Bronny is a product of privilege rather than talent, has followed him like a shadow into every single game, every single G League assignment, every single DNP on the stat sheet. Anonymous teammates from the 2024 Summer League reportedly grumbled about the situation. One insider told ESPN